Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're in the final few days of Inktoberfest. So we're going to do some fun things for the last few days. We're going to do obviously our giveaways. We have special offers every day. I have my assistant here with me today. We're going to do special offers. So today was 70% off of ink pads. So it makes each ink pad like $2 each. So if you've ever been on the fence about trying our ink pads, you can check out Hedgehog Hollow store below in the description. What's up, Tills?
You have summoned me. You said assistant.
No, I said you were here.
Oh,
Um, so so we're gonna have that. So every day we'll have something fun. Tonight we're gonna cover Tyvek, and then tomorrow I'm gonna talk about embossing powders because I love embossing powders and there's so much you can do with them, and I'm going to teach you how to make some custom ones and like how to get good results on all those things. So that's what we're going to cover tomorrow. But today we're going to talk about Tyvek, which I think is an underrated material. If you got the Inktoberfest box, you have a Tyvek tag or two in your box. I can't remember exactly how many you have, but they look like this. And this is actually the stuff they use to wrap houses, that Tyvek wrap you see. It's exactly the same. You can get Tyvek envelopes at the post office. It's super strong. It's non-porous. It's water resistant. So we can't do anything with our dye inks on it. Okay, so you're going to have to use things that work on non-porous materials. And I'm going to show you some fun ones. So let me bring up my list as well so that I can see exactly what we had. Okay, so number one. First of all, you can heat Tyvek carefully. So you can paint it before or after. I'm going to do a little bit of both and we're going to play with different ideas. You can use kaleidoscope powders on it as well. And I'm going to show you a couple of ways to work with it on black. But if you just gently heat it, now you have to heat it, and I'm not going to shout, Denise, because you told me how it blacks out now. So now I'm going to. So you'll find it will shrink and bubble. You don't want it to scorch though. So you see as I'm heating it, it's starting to kind of bubble a little bit. So the more you go, and it will play, and I like to keep like kind of changing sides with it because it has a natural texture to it. So you don't want to scorch it, but as you heat it, it will naturally shrink and it gives you this cool bubbled look. So you see how it gives you that bubbled look. So you can shrink the whole piece, you can shrink sections, you can cut it and shrink it. But when you put that on your paper, it kind of looks like faux leather or like a snake skin. You can turn it into all kinds of different things. So you can heat it. Just be careful. You don't want to scorch it. You absolutely can do that. And then if you want to, you can take, I grabbed some foundry wax here. So this is the Tim Holtz foundry wax. Mine needs a good shake. Okay. So when you kind of do it like this, and then you can add shimmer and things over the top. So if you did that, and then you could add kaleidoscope powders over the top, but it looks kind of like a faux leather. It kind of gives you a really cool little texture. So that's another way you can use your Tyvek on there like that. So that's number one. Number two, you can use acrylic ink on your Tyvek. I thought I had acrylic ink. I only have the test ones they sent me. But you can use acrylic ink and something fun. I watched some tutorials to get some like extra bonus ideas. And I watched a girl, she mixed acrylic ink and glycerin. But it has to be pure glycerin. Um, and otherwise the chemical reaction doesn't work. Like if you use just like generic glycerin that you would buy like the Wilton stuff, it doesn't work. It has to be absolutely pure stuff, like a chemical grade. But spoiler alert, we're gonna have a acrylic base that you can turn into acrylic inks, acrylic paint, acrylic all kinds of things, and you'll be able to do that with it. And we'll have a chemical grade glycerin that you can mix with it. But if you mix that in, you kind of make an acrylic paint-ish. And again, you can mix that on here and it gives it a luster. So you can do that and you can mix all your sparkles and elixirs and all that stuff into it as well. So that's another way that you can make like faux leather with your Tyvek. All right, you can also run it through embossing folders. Now, I don't have all my die cutting machines set up. I actually, other than the little bit we did in class, I haven't used dies since we've been back. So I'm going to try and do it. I've never done it with the diamond press, but we're going to try. Hey, Aria, should I let you up? Let's see. I don't think this is going to be enough pressure. I might need a little shim in here. Oh, no, pretty good. So you see, you can get a nice crisp embossing on your Tyvek. So you can do that. And then again, you can, is that where it belongs? You can either add some ink. So like your pink champagne elixir has an acrylic base to it. So you can use that directly on your pieces. I'm just grabbing out a brush here. Give it a stir. This stuff does separate. So just make sure sometimes you need to just stir them. But you can paint it on and it will give you a luster finish. Let's see, so you end up with like a sparkle. You can do the same with your Starlight Elixir. You can also take acrylic paints and rub them in. You can rub in gilding waxes. Or if you now heat it, you'll find, I'll do it on this end, that's why I kind of left an end. Your raised areas will react differently to your base areas. So if you can see, I'll try and pull it out. So you'll see it'll lean into the curves and then it'll give you texture in between. So if you do it with like the really thick embossing folders, like the really 3D ones, like this is the lumber one, like the thick ones like this, you'll get that effect even more. But you want something with pretty open areas. So if you've got something, I have like a fa la 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 one. If you did that, anything that's really open is going to bubble like this, and it will naturally pull into those curves and things like that. So again, you can do the same kind of thing and do that. You can also add your alcohol inks to it because, of course, it's non-porous. And the raised areas will, of course, react differently because they're going to create like little gutters. And this is on top of the pink champagne. So I'm going to end up with a lustery finish to this because these are translucent. So now, of course, I've got like a pearlized alcohol ink finish on top. So you can see that will shine through too. So you can play around with different layers. You can also do it, of course, with our pigmented versions. You can paint yours black with acrylic paint, or this is our new acrylic base. I mixed it in with that, and you see it's got shimmer to it. I put some pearl dust into it to give it that shimmer. So you end up with this black finish. And let me see. You can again do the same kind of thing. Where's my... Did I just put my... I don't have many of these like small ones that will fit in the diamond press. So I just pre-painted this, let it dry. I'm only going to run it halfway because I want to heat both ends and show you the difference. So you see you've got that beautiful black effect in here. And then you can do the same thing. I'm just going to take some foundry wax. And so you can rub it over the top. And this is really strong. So you can die cut this. You can heat emboss on it carefully. You're going to have to kind of do it in bursts because otherwise it will ripple like that. But if you do it in bursts, you can absolutely heat emboss on it. You can also, on this end, you can use, of course, your pigmented alcohol inks. You can use glitter pastes. So if you make your own glitter paste based with using our glitter paste base and put in your inkable glitter, or if you put in some of the white pigment, you can use that on here on a stencil that will dry. But your regular paste, like your elemental paste and your whipped, they will just crack. They just don't, they need somewhere for that moisture in them to go to dry. But the I tried the glitter paste base and that did dry on here as well. The other thing you can do, of course, when it's black, and so it becomes kind of like, you see, it's like stretchy and gummy. I can kind of play around with it. But if I then take my foundry wax, see that beautiful texture you've got in there that you can put on your cards. And if you want to, while the foundry is wet, you can also just rub in some clear ink. But you can rub on, that's the pearl dust just rubbed on top. And you see it kind of gives you that beautiful luster. So you can do that too. So there's tons and tons of different ways you can do this. Again, I would still spritz it dry just like that, just to lock in those fibers. But it comes out, and with that luster that I put into the paint in the beginning, I think it's a really fun technique that you can do on there as well. What happens if I heat this end after I've done it? Do it. What's the worst that can happen? I've done it. So you've got a few seconds to work with it, but you see how it's scrunched into these lines here, and it starts to pull that up. So it's going to pull that design together and kind of give it a natural texture. But that's what will happen. So there's that. What else can we do? You can also, oh, this was fun. I can't find my skewers, but what you can do, cut these into strips, wind them, and I like to do them in like triangle pieces. And if you wind them around a skewer, and you can paint it first, ink it first, do whatever you want, and then heat it, it will lock it all together and you can make paper beads to go on your cards and things like that. So you can do that as well. You can also use it in book binding. It's really good for making hinges for your junk journals. I know some of you do that, things like that, because look, it's super strong. And you think you can't tear it, but if you start, I'm totally not using my teeth, and then once you do it, it gives you this beautiful featheriness. So it's, you see all those fibers that are in it, then you can all of a sudden have those pretty edges on there. So you can make it very soft by tearing it. You just have to start it off. The easiest way to start it, I use my teeth. Or you can use a seam unripper is a good way to start it. Because if you put a scissor line in it, you get that kind of strong start to it. Whereas if you just take the seam ripper or the end of your thing and just kind of give it a little start and then rip, and depending which way you rip will depend on how your fibers look. Here's another one I did earlier when I was kind of playing around with different ways to tear it. So there's that too. So yes, you can tear it. You can get these beautiful edges on it. And the edges will be different if you heat the edges. First of all, it'll seal the fibers. But secondly, it will just, so it gets rid of the kind of like fibrousness. So if you've got something and you don't like it, a little bit of heat will seal it. And then it'll start to pull into whatever curve or shape you've done with it as well. So there's that too. What else can we do with Tyvek? You can make beautiful lace with it. So if you've got like doily dyes, like Eileen Hull has that doily dye and things like that, it makes a really pretty lace effect and it's very strong. Whereas with paper, there's not much you can do. You can also use your new spray if you got it at the weekend because the sprays are acrylic based. So this will dry because it's got acrylic in it. And you're going to get all that shimmer. And also that when you put the spray on it, you see how you start to see the fibers in it. So just by giving it that little bit of the acrylic spray, you'll get some of those fibers start to come through on it too. You can also use your liquid glass and alchemy glaze. I would probably tend towards the the liquid glass, but you could definitely do either one in them. So if you want to mix stuff in, you can absolutely do that. But now I've got that beautiful pink shimmery background that I can work with as well. Or you could do the black. And then, as I say, because it's acrylic, it will dry on the black. It will take a minute to dry because it's obviously got to air dry. There's nowhere for the porousness for it to go, but you can see how that will sit on there. And that will dry like this. And so you can kind of make it go in all the grooves and highlight things as well to give you that kind of fun effect on top. And that brings through the interference that's in that spray. So there's that as well. So that's the pink champagne, the bubblegum spray rather. I got pink champagne on the brain. So lots of fun things you can do with that. You can use your alcohol inks on it. You can use acrylic paints on it. You can use liquid glass, alchemy glaze, glitter gel base. Don't recommend paste so much. Anything that's going to crack when it moves is not going to do well, and anything that needs to be absorbed. So that's why your dye inks are not going to work. Pigment inks, not so much. You can stamp on it with archival inks and it will stay and it will dry because it's non-porous. So you'll want to use those. You can use the alcohol inks with the snow flurries in, your regular alcohol inks, your alloy alcohol inks, your mixatives will work on this. What else can we use? I'm looking at all my inks here. Distress sprays, not so much. You've got to have that acrylic in it because the acrylic is what allows it to dry on the non-porous surface. If you have alcohol-based sprays, you can use those. If you have things like Lindy's powders or Brusho or anything like that, if you spritz it with alcohol, it will work on here. If you spritz it with water, it will not stay. But if you have if you spritz it with isopropyl alcohol, at least 95%, ideally 99%, it will stay on here. So you just have to have the ones that will react with water or alcohol. So yeah, anything with acrylic, anything that's not water-based, foil fusion will dry on here as well. It'll take a little bit longer to dry again because there's nowhere for the water to go. But you can use your foil fusion and then add gilding or foiling or things like that. I did try printing on it and foiling. That worked as well. So I just made a small piece, ran it through the printer, and we can print on this with toner reactive foiled toner, like the toner to use your thermal web foils. So you'll be able to foil on them going forward as well. So that will be fun too. What else did I have on my list? Of course, you can use stencils, alcohol inks, or an acrylic-based mica spray through your stencils. And then if you heat it afterwards, again, it's kind of fun. You can do that too. We covered the painting it black. Oh, and you can use it on your gel press. So you can use these for gel press prints because you're going to use acrylic paint or alcohol inks on your gel press. So it's a really fun way to pull that. And you'll get, you know, when I spritzed it with the pink and you started to see this fibrous, you'll get some of that with the gel press. Or you can even put the spray down, let it dry, and then pull up a gel press print. As long as you use a paint that's translucent, you'll have that shimmer shine through. Or spray it after you've done it and you'll have the shimmer on top. Just depends on how much shimmer you want to have. So you can do that too. So anything like that, you can do it. What else did I have on here? We covered glitter gel. You can use Stickles gel. on here. Nuvo drops will dry, but they will take a long time, but they do have acrylic in, so they will dry. Um, Gel-based mediums, they will dry. Anything like that. Any other mediums or questions on like what you can or can't use? I think I covered most things. Gilding waxes, foundry waxes, great. Um, Pigment, no. Dye, no. See if I'm just looking around my craft room if there's anything else I didn't cover that you can use. You can use UV resin on it. So if you like doing UV resin and things like that, if you want to make like dewdrops on it, you can put some dots of UV resin, put it under the UV, and then you can alcohol ink on top or, do kinds of things and you'll have dewdrops or paint over the top of it. You can use the glue gun on here. That will dry if you want to do that and add texture underneath and then paint on top or add alcohol inks on top. You can do that as well or spray on top of it. What else? The new glue that you're getting in your Lift Your Spirits boxes will work on here. It takes a while to dry, but if you want to do gems and things like that, that will work as well. Um, you can use your glass glitter on here, pretty much anything. There's not much you can't use. Just basically stay away from, yes, you could use stencil butter because it's acrylic. Um, Gelatos, probably not because they rely too much on water from memory. So I don't think that will work so much. But yeah, definitely stencil butters. The Luna paste, the Simon Hurley Luna paste, they would work on here because they have acrylic in them. Yeah, anything that's not dye or pigment, and be very careful with embossing powder. But other than that, you're good to go on them. So that's 12, over 12 different ways that you can use your Tyvek tags. And we will have sheets of Tyvek going forward. It's something I have on my list to do. And as I say, we'll print on them and we can do all kinds of stuff with them. This was kind of just a little entry for you to try it. The tags are a nice size, so you can use them on cards and create little elements and things like that as well. Stencil butter is from the Crafters Workshop, I believe, from memory. I think I used to have some. And it's an acrylic-based gel paste. And they come in different colors and they have a luster to them. Basically, that's what they are. So any other questions about Tyvek for tonight? Oh yeah, Bo said when I heated this edge, it kind of looks like ocean waves. That would be a fun texture to add onto it as well. So lots of things you can do with it. It's a fun medium. It's like we could do a whole day just on Tyvek. Can I add a wish list to the site? I don't know, Bo. Send me an email and I'll look into it for sure. All right, winner for tonight. While I'm selecting a winner, tell me what your favorite thing that we did with the Tyvek is. I'll tell you mine in a minute as well. Michelle's getting it ready for me. Curling it with the heat gun, the leather, the foundry wax. All of it because it's new. My winners list. Yes, and the other thing is if you embossed with clear, you could then paint over the top and get the texture, or you could foundry wax over the top or alcohol ink over the top, and you could use the embossing, the clear embossing as your texture. So you could do that too. So tons and tons of different things you can do with it. My favorite is doing the black and then adding the stuff like this to it. I love that. If I could find black Tyvek, I'd have it, but I'll just make my own. It's fine. All right, so tonight's winner, Michelle already did the drum roll for me, is Kathy Thompson. Congrats, Kathy. Oh, there is black Tyvek. I hadn't found it yet. I will look into that too. But yeah, we're gonna have tons of Tyvek. We'll probably do a Tyvek class sometime January, February. of making projects with Tyvek and all the kind of different things. Um, and different ideas because I have lots and lots of ideas with it as well. So there is that. If you are watching this on YouTube, of course, don't forget to hit subscribe, ring the bell, all those things, thumbs up. It really does help us expand our reach. And this is our last week of Inktoberfest. So we'll be doing fun things all week. And on Friday, I'm going to do some really big giveaways. So you want to make sure you're in the Zoom room on Friday for the finale of Inktoberfest. Don't forget, tonight is a code on the store. If you've ever wanted to try the Maker Forte / Hedgehog Hollow inks, until midnight tonight, I did a code. It's called Crazy Ink, all one word, Crazy Ink. Basically makes each ink pad about $2 each, and it's a one-time thing. I don't know, I was feeling crazy. I think I'm just delirious from not sleeping last night. So it has not shipped yet, Sarah. So you can send me an email and we can sort that out. Just send me a screenshot of what you want and we'll figure that out. So yeah, fun things going on here. I'm definitely gonna get some sleep tonight. Tomorrow we're going to work on embossing powders and I'm going to show you how to customize embossing powders, how to get nice crisp results, all those kinds of things, different ways you can use embossing powders. So I'm excited to try that with you all. And I will see you all tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday evening, and I'll see you all.